Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to the video. This is another paid request, this time from Manuel. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, re-reviews, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now, Manuel wanted me to do a commentary on the 13th Warrior. I'm not sure why. I don't know if he enjoys the film. If he does, this ain't going to be a happy commentary because I don't like this film. The most I would say about this film, I find it pretty boring. In fact, the most noteworthy part of this film is that it was one of the biggest box office bombs. So, but we'll get into it. Pause the beginning, at least the version I have that I found online, because I don't think I own this film. I tried to look for it, and if I had on DVD, I gave it away or sold it or something. But 3, 2, 1, pressing play. Because the version I have, it starts with Concord Entertainment. But if it doesn't on yours, then boom, we got the Touchtone. Which I forgot this was Touchtone Pictures. And Touchtone Pictures fades out about now for syncing. And then we have Touchtone Pictures Presents. A Crichton McTiernan production. That's one of the issues with the film. Wow, look at that CGI. The 13th Warrior. Wow, what a great title. Just on a guy hunched on a boat. Such a grand moment for your title. And then we fade out, and then we're at another CGI shot. And then scene that's weirdly overlit. It's like someone's got a beacon ready for Batman shining in the background. So Antonio Banderas looked at a woman that belonged to another man, and because of that slight mistake, for punishment, he was pretty much kicked out. This seems like an opening that was a lot longer and got completely whittled down. If it wasn't, then to me this is pretty poorly edited. It just so rapidly cut together. And just such a exposition dump at the beginning. This is who I am. This is what happened. This is where I was sent. This is where we're going. And it span of like a minute. Maybe it was never the case, but I'm just saying if the case was ever found that there's much more to this and much more of a build-up where we get to know who Antonio Banderas is, what his job is, what he was doing, everything's going fine, he does one look, everything's going to be okay, no, not everything's not going to be okay. It just felt like a really quick exposition dump to get into this bit here. But yeah, when I said that McTiernan Crichton co-production was an issue, for those who don't know, John McTiernan at first was directing this film. The same John McTiernan who did Predator. Same one who did Die Hard. The Hunt for Red October. So what happened was, that was when it was called Eaters of the Dead, which is a much better title than the 13th Warrior. Eaters of the Dead brings a certain sense of, not just horror, but a certain mystery. So, what's going on here? What's this about? Eaters of the Dead. But instead, they changed the 13th Warrior later on, because apparently John McTiernan did the film. There was a test screening. It went disastrous. And so McTiernan was pretty much gone. And Michael Crichton came in to reshoot even though it says directed by John McTiernan, Michael Crichton came in, reshot scenes, added scenes, changed things. I guess for some reason they could not put Michael Crichton's name on it, or Michael Crichton chose not to. I think someone else might have done the score, and then they got Jerry Goldsmith to do the score. The ending was added because I think it ended with them killing the evil queen lady thing, and then they escape. But then that last battle where, oh no, here's a lieutenant or whatever. Now we got this fight. That was kind of added in after the fact. That's why it feels like the movie has two endings. And there are certain scenes edited out to try to make it, quote, a faster pace. So a lot of the characters you don't really learn much about. Like a lot of these Norsemen, Vikings, however you want to put it, you don't really learn much about them. Of course, you have Omar Sharif, big established actor. And I know he had the line where, you know what, I'm not going to work anymore unless it's something I really, really have a desire to. And you mentioned, oh, I was working with a director who didn't know what he was doing. I don't know if he's talking about John McTiernan. I don't know if he's talking about Michael Crichton. Just John McTiernan knows what he's doing when it comes to an action film. At least he did for a while. You look at Predator and Die Hard and Hunt for Red October and stuff, he knew what he was doing, but then that's a nice sword slice. I'll give you that. Trying to think. I mean, Michael Crichton, I mean, he's done stuff too that I've liked. Runaway, I love Runaway with Tom Selleck and Gene Simmons. Michael Crichton did that one. So pretty much we're witnessing what they call, Viking funeral, trip to Valhalla. You have the guy, the old teen, and then a lady that's just like, yep, I'm going to join him into Valhalla. See how it cuts away really quickly? Like, I don't know if that was originally intended to cut so quickly. I don't know if it's like meant to be a bit longer. Just like a lot of films. I mean, you film, you have a much longer cut, and you see what works, what doesn't work, and then you find way, or the producers, or another director, or they just hired editors, snip away, get it to 90 to 100 minutes. And Antonio Banderas is the lead, and I like Antonio Banderas. I do. Desperado, I enjoy. Master of Zorro, I enjoy. I even liked his work in Assassins with Sylvester Stallone. Assassin's not a great movie, but I can enjoy it. It has its issues, though. It's not like a favorite of mine, but I do like Assassins overall. I do like Stallone and Antonio. I think when it's the two of them going back and forth, that's when the film works best. The stuff Julianne Moore, I think, is the weaker parts of it. Now this is right after the Master Zorro, so that's a big surprise hit, and he's thinking, okay, what are the films we can do to keep sort of that box office success going? And instead, you got this film, which was a complete, utter bomb. Just a complete bomb. I think it got delayed too. I think it was supposed to come out. Was it supposed to come out in '98, or was it got? It came out in '99. I think for the reshooting or additional shooting, it got delayed for a bit. I remember when I first heard of this film. Son of a great teen from the north. I don't know, some of these scenes kind of lose impact when we literally have just to keep listening to a guy just telling Antonio everything about what he's saying, every little bit. But yeah, this film had a lot of issues, a lot of problems, a lot of. Honestly, that story would be a lot more interesting than the movie we have. And this would be cool. It'd be cool if somehow someone had the ability to go through each of these box office bombs or these big problematic productions, and they had the money and they had the time, and just try to find all the people. And to be honest, just like, dude, it's been so many years. Just be honest. Like John McTiernan, be honest. What happened? Did you screw up? Did Michael Crichton screw it up? Like Antonio Banderas, be honest. What happened during the course of this film? Because no one wants to be honest because you'll hurt people's feelings, or somehow you think that'll damage your film career. I mean, I don't think talking good or bad about 13 Warriors is going to ruin your career. Now here they're naming the warriors that are going to be needed for this journey. And you know who the 13th warrior is? Well, number 8. Thankfully, there was someone counting along for us. Sorry, I'm watching this a bit. Complete silence. The 13th man must not be a Northman. Now, I remember in the trailer, that was definitely sounded differently. Like a different voice. Like you get the 13th warrior is you. Now, maybe I know this gets a pretty decent rating on IMDb, which I'm rather surprised by, and there are fans of this film. Maybe because after Game of Thrones and other stuff, films of this nature got a bit of a second resurgence. And it's just one of those things where I just remember being, like I said, bored with this movie. Because I remember seeing the trailer to this and having a bit of intrigue. Maybe because I think of Michael Crichton, I think of the other stuff he had written, like Jurassic Park and Congo, and he directed the original Westworld. He directed Runaway, sci-fi. So I thought, okay, there's going to be a little bit of, obviously not sci-fi, but maybe horror, like fantasy, like some type of extra to it, instead of just it's cannibals, but it's people wearing these bear suits. Maybe I thought it would actually be some type of creature monster or series of creatures, non-human entities. I thought it'd be much more of like a horror action movie. Because John McTiernan did Predator. So I thought, okay, this guy doing like a Predator but with Vikings. You think of, oh, it's based on the novel Eaters of the Dead. Okay. Cool. So pretty much this here is Antonio just seeing how they talk and learning their language just from that, but I don't know how the hell you would do that either. I mean, when you still need a point of reference. I mean, I don't know if you could just learn a language just by watching people talk in a campfire. And like, what's the time frame of this? Idea has been idea. I don't know how long this journey is. I mean, the way it looks, it almost looks like it's the same night. Like the same in one night he learned this. Yeah, sorry if I take like silent gaps because I'm listening to the film. Because to be perfectly honest, I haven't seen this film in probably over 10 years. And even then, I've probably only seen this film probably twice before. Once when it came out, like on probably initial on DVD, More VHS DVD. Like I probably rented it or something. Being disappointed with it. And like I said, I think one time I picked up for cheap on DVD because I didn't remember it. Because a lot of times there'd be stores would ask you to find movies for $3, stuff, etc. Goodwill. Okay, there's a movie for $3, and this is before streaming was as big as it is. Okay, it's $3 or $1.50. I'll pick it up and watch it and see whether there are films that get better with age. There's films that get worse with age. That's the thing. Like you could watch something, and then 5 years later you watch it again. You go, you know what? That was better than I thought. Or you know what? That was worse than I thought. That does happen. I think this whole bit because they were making fun of his horse and his riding abilities, and shows, listen, I can keep up with you. And that ridiculous bit, CGI edition. You tell that was enhanced with CGI with that. And now we're back to where we were at the beginning. That's the thing, I don't know how this all was entailed in the original version of the film. I just don't. I don't know if it was. If this whole thing was meant to start the beginning, if it was meant to begin in a different way, something else entirely. Again, I don't know for certain. I don't know for sure. Kind of wear this fade out to white. Odin, you mean Anthony Hopkins? He's not in this movie. Yeah, wait. A few, over a decade later. And if you hear noise, there are people outside working and stuff. Yeah, I try to do these commentaries whenever I can. So they shot an arrow. As one guy keeps shouting for Odin. And another guy keeps shooting arrows. I just because the fog gives a bit of light so we don't crash. Land in case we don't see it. So this guy is definitely a good potential leader because he's learning about writing, he's learning stuff from the Arab, which I know is where Antonio Banderas, who is not Arab, playing an Arab. So I'm sure the film would get people's feathers ruffled because of that and that alone. I'm sure the lead guy of these Vikings, I know I've seen him in other movies. I can't tell you what movies they are though, but I know I've seen him in other stuff. I know I have. But that's the thing, like we're 24 minutes in. Obviously we got, you know, 8 minutes left of the movie. Again, sorry about the noise. It just I can only do this whenever I can. But we don't really know anything about these Vikings. We know that they were making fun of Antonio Banderas. We know this one guy is the leader. He slashed a guy's chest. But I can't tell any of these guys apart and know anything about them. The good, the bad, the ugly, everything in between. Even Antonio Banderas' character, like, what do I really know about his character? He's an Arab. He looked at a girl wrong. He can learn how to speak just by watching people. However long this was. I mean, again, because the campfire looked the same, because it looked like he was in the same spot, it looked like he learned it in a day. I'm sure it's supposed to be days because of this journey, but again, it looked like the way it was edited that it was done in one damn night. Like maybe if there's like different positions and different locations, maybe that would have made the transition or montage a bit more palatable. So now they're in the kingdom of the other kingdom who needed help with their 13 warriors. And also, you think like maybe because based on a lot of other movies that okay, he's the unlikely warrior, he's the 13th warrior. Did Antonio see something? Someone's running. Damn, that dog's ready to get run over. I was just watching like there's a dog like trying to chase this horse and like almost ready to nip at the horse's legs. I'm like, you don't better be careful. You don't get kicked in the head by the horse, you little dog. So they found a little boy screaming. He was running away from something, and now they're going to the forest. Nice location. I'll give you that. Nice location. And I don't think the acting is bad. I'll give you that. I don't think the acting is bad at all. And I'll give you that. It's not a bad acting job from the folks. I guess you think John McTiernan, director of Predator. You think of Michael Crichton, writer of the novels Jurassic Park, Congo, and you just think he'd be much more of a horror, like Eaters of the Dead. That's the book it's based on. Okay, even if it's not monsters, okay, they say what cannibals. You think like that more like darker, grittier, violent, exciting movie, and it really isn't. From what I remember. And like I said, you don't really get much notion of each of these characters and Antonio Banderas. I forgot what I was going to say before about Antonio. Oh, not Antonio. Like I was something I was going to say. Maybe I'll remember it. But yeah, this film, like, it was one budget, and because of all the additional reshoots and because of the additional photography, it ballooned. One word was that it was 160 million, and then some people argue, no, it was actually like 100 million. Wherever the case may be, number one, I hate to say it, but it does not. The budget doesn't look that. I can't help it. When I see this, I don't see $100 million budget or $160 million budget. I just don't see it. I don't. That's a nice graphic moment. Here we just a little bit of gore, the aftermath. Nice makeup effects. Body upside down, head gone. What is it, the Predator? Obviously, this is probably where the boy came from. There's going to be, what, another body? An arm. So the heads are missing, and they're dressed like a bear. That's why the trap. I mean, the footprint is wearing something on their feet. Hell's so there's a torso with titties. It's like a little stone. There's a torso with big old jugs for titties. I mean, that shot there with someone in shadow with a spear, you could tell that's a person. So right then and there, like, you could tell that's a person. That's not a creature or anything. Unless that's supposed to be someone who, if that's supposed to be someone else, but I like the little nice touch that now they're calling him little brother because they respect that he can ride on a horse. They respect that he can draw, that he can speak their language, and took the time and care to do that. And obviously there's a bit of expertise, but he's still the new guy in the group, so they call him little brother. I like that little motif. I think that's a nice motif. I think on the DVD there's no special features I can remember. And this is a time when John McTiernan's career, I mean, I think he also had the Thomas Crown affair around this time, and that did decent business. It definitely got more positive reviews. And then a few years later, you had the Rollerball remake, which was another film that has a lot of his issues, and I maintain that's John McTiernan's worst film, the Rollerball remake. Which is funny. The other day, I had done a stream And I forget how the conversation came about, but oh, he was talking about. Hey, I wonder maybe they'll do a sequel to Rollerball, or should they do one? I'm like, no, James Gunn passed away, and I said, and the remake was bad enough, and the guy in the chat said, there was a Rollerball remake. I'm like, yeah, John McTiernan did it. And he's like, the guy who did Predator and Die Hard did it? I'm like, yep. So he didn't know there was a Rollerball remake. He didn't know the director of Predator and Die Hard did it. I'm like, yeah, I don't blame him. I don't blame him. Rollerball remake. And I forgot Chris Klein's name, but people in the chat remembered. The lousy version of Keanu Reeves, Chris Klein. You need to leave my table. Stop being a pansy. He's a sissy. Yeah, wipe your nose. Let's see over here. First place study, the guy with the eye patch. I'm like, is that the guy from Robin Hood Men and Prince of Thieves? Who's Robin of Locksley? But think about it, I mean, we got an hour left in the movie. We're 35 minutes in, and it still feels like just consistent setup. We set up who Antonio Banderas is, but I didn't. All we know is that he looked at a woman and he went goodbye, sent off. Set up that he learned this stuff. Set up who these creatures are. So now they're getting ready in case they get in the night get attacked. And people building stuff outside. John McTiernan, though, I mean, he was a good director at one point. Meaning, I mean, like you said, you get Predator. Any guy who makes Predator and Die Hard bat to bat, there's some damn talent there. Lightning striking twice like that is very, very rare. Even then, he did The Hunt for Red October, which is a good movie. It's not a favorite of mine, but I think it's a good movie. A little bit slow in its pacing. I think it could be tightened up a bit, but I like it. Even I think the last film he did was Basic. I like that movie. A lot of people don't. I saw it in the theater. John Travolta, Samuel Jackson. I do like Basic. I thought Travolta really nailed his role as this interrogator. A lot of people didn't like the twists and turns. I thought they were kind of interesting. They make 100% sense at times, maybe not, but I still thought it was enjoyable. So I like Basic. Of course, they're pretending to snore, which is a smart idea, as they know that some folks. Today you are. You will be. There we go. So we have our first action scene. But look at like this, even this action scene, it's like, okay, that's a nice spear. But it feels jumbled. It feels like I don't even know barely what's going on. Like the camera is shaking for some reason. Not Antonio's being thrown. And the camera is like just jumbling around, and okay, we did a little bit of that was a good effect. I'll give you, someone got their head taken off. That's a good effect. That was nicely done. Bravo on that makeup effect. That looked good. And it definitely centered on that head being carried away. Don't use it as a fucking fuck toy. And now they're gone. Maybe the way it was shot is trying to resemble the chaos going on. But pretty much they're just confused because they know they killed some and they're wondering where the hell the bodies are. So you'll get the idea later on that they take the bodies, leave no evidence, or they eat the dead as well. That's probably why too. Thus eaters of the dead. I can't remember 100%. Obviously they took the bodies. But like that action scene, like the only thing I could tell you is, oh wow, that head rip was good. I can't tell you if that was an exciting or if it was even well choreographed. It felt like chaos, Tamara doing, this, and I thought it could have been staged better. Like the way the guy described it, okay, the end of circle, your backs are turned. You figure, okay, maybe be a wide shot with the guys in a circle, and then a wide shot where the others are closing in. Like think of a wide shot of your characters in a circle facing this way, and then in the wide shot, you have all the eaters of the dead on the outside, closing in on them. Show a little bit of this, show a little bit of that, but wasn't the case here. And yes, for a movie that cost what, 100 million, I do expect a bit better. I mean, by this time, Braveheart had come out, and Braveheart is a good movie. It's not just the length of it, how long it is. I don't rewatch it a lot, but it is a good movie. Braveheart is a good film, and look at the way those action scenes are handled. Mel Gibson did a good job. And very, very bloody. Jesus Christ. So Antonio tried to cut the damn thing, fucking fell in the damn water. Maybe he needs to get a better sword, or a sharper sword. instead of a sword, he makes a knife. Like, that's a nice little bit of banter. If you die, do that to me, daughter. Like, that was, that's a fun little bit there. As they're trying to make these sharp sticks for this trap, obviously for battle later on. I don't know if anything really goes with this lady here. The one who's tending to his wounds is like, you make it sound like a girl. But yeah, I don't remember if anything even comes about with this whole bit with Antonio and this girl. Like, I don't know if anything culminates with it. Not that I remember. I mean, we're almost halfway through the film, now that I see here. But yeah, John McTiernan directed it, and I mean, this is when they wanted to make any movie they could from any Michael Crichton novel, because of just how successful Jurassic Park was. So, Congo, Disclosure, Rising Sun with Sean Connery and Wesley Snipes, this movie. If it had Michael Crichton's name attached to it, do it. And probably of those ones I named, Congo I really enjoyed, but that didn't do well. This film was a complete bomb. Disclosure was probably the closest to being hit. Rising Sun made a little bit of money, I think. But it's not a film I really like. Could never get into Rising Sun. So pretty much we have this disagreement where one got mad that the other was shoveling dirt too much onto him, so now they're having this duel with looks like cardboard shields. I guess let's get some other excitement into this. Funny that in, almost an hour, the second action scene is this little duel between this big guy who we just met and won't be in the film much longer, and this other guy was part of the well, now 12, because one died. And I can't tell you much of anything about him other than maybe a few like funny lines he had. If I'm trying to pick like of the 12, like there's the one that wants the knife because he thinks it'd be good for his daughter, called Antonio Banderas' sword and knife. The leader, Antonio himself, maybe this guy. Can't remember. I think this is the guy that's been talked with Antonio before. Was he the one that said when Antonio's like, "I'm not a warrior," and he's like, "Soon you will be." Maybe that was him. And this guy gone through like 5 shields. It's like 5 shields he's gone through. There you go. Play possum and boom, got his head taken off. I mean, we see the spray of blood. By the way, that bit there where that guy, young guy, like wants to take control of the kingdom. But I was saying, like, that whole bit with that young guy that walked away and he wants this kingdom for himself, I don't think anything comes of that either. I think after this, that's, like, forgotten, I believe. Again, that whole bit with the... That's why it seems like there's certain stuff that's built up and then never followed through. Like I said, I think, like, the whole thing with the girl that might like him and is like tending to his wounds. I don't think anything comes of that. And then, like I said, that guy that wants to rule this new kingdom and seems like he wants to overthrow his dad. I don't think anything comes of that either. I think by now that's dropped. So it's like, well, what becomes of that? And like I said, you have all these characters. It's hard to, how do I put it? I don't know how to put it. Some nice vistas, I'll give you that. Some really nice vistas. Location they shot it at. The fireworm is that like a bunch of fiery catapults. So it seems as if a dragon is breathing down on fire, but it's just a bunch of fiery catapults that they shoot up. So that might be... I said, if I vaguely remember this film. Like, vaguely. I know at the end they're in a cave system, and then there's this... I think originally it was supposed to be an older woman, which it makes sense. It's supposed to be the mother of this group and the queen. But I guess they're like, well, I think John McTiernan shot it that way, and then Crichton's like, well, I don't know about how the audience would feel about them killing an old woman. So let it be a young woman. I'm like, I don't know, the old woman, people liking Friday the 13th from 1980 and various other stuff, but whatever. So I mean, it shows a bit of Antonio's bravery. Of course, we established that the horse can jump, so showcasing this scene here that yes, the horse can jump, so he can do this. It's a bunch of torches. I don't know why I thought it was catapults. It's just people with torches. I was hoping for something a bit more exciting with the catapults shooting over and hitting the village itself. Which, by the way, I mean, is this supposed to be a kingdom, or because it looks like just a typical village? But I guess, hey, it's one of their brethren in the north, so just better than anything else. I guess I just would assume it'd be like castles and stuff, but no, not really. I was saying before, like when you make these kind of films, more than likely they're going to bomb, meaning the days and era of swords and period pieces of that note. Very rarely do you have one that's a hit. Like Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves was a hit. That became a bit of a phenomenon with the song "I Do It For You." Kevin Costner, the bow and arrow, Morgan Freeman. But very rarely, I should say, after that they became a hit. Just think about all the films that were flops. I mean, even recently, I think Ben Affleck, maybe Matt Damon. I think Ridley Scott made a couple of them. Like he did a Robin Hood film with Russell Crowe, didn't he? And that bombed. Then there was like another Robin Hood from, I forget who the director was. It's a known director. I think it stars the kid from The Kingsman. That film bombed, and yeah, Jamie Foxx I think was in it. That bombed. Ridley Scott did another period sword piece. Again, Ben Affleck, maybe Matt Damon was in it. That bombed. Timeline with Richard Donner, even with a little sci-fi twist because it's people going back in time to this era. That bombed. Even Army of Darkness, as awesome as that movie is, that bombed. Like, this stuff is not really big money makers. Maybe way back then in the day, but not the case nowadays. Of course, this was a big bomb. Maybe people say like Gladiator, Russell Crowe, which I mean that's a different time, but the Sword and Sandal movie. You know, Antonio hacked the shit out of him. Cut his head off and take it. Cut his head off and take it. Tell it. Tell everybody. Obviously, of the warriors, that's the guy like, it's alright, little brother. There's more. And there you go, Antonio just kicking ass. Realizing that they're men and not beasts, now he's more gun-ho about it. Now he's just kicking a bit more ass. I would say this is the first action scene of worthy note for me. At about an hour in. Just give me a 50 caliber machine gun. There you go. They ramble in there with a 50 caliber. There you go. Damn, that guy got speared to hell and back, or arrows, I should say. Damn pincushion. Yeah, I think a good chunk of the warriors get killed here. I can't remember at least how many. Ah, okay, this is for the horses, that's right. Make a wall. I mean, good work with the horses. I mean, I don't know how the hell you do that, but they made like the horses get impaled and fall to the ground, and nowadays it's all be CGI. It'd all be CGI, but the fact they did this all practically in camera, pretty damn valid. That was a bit weird fade out. Like Antonio's yelling ah, and then it fades to like other scenes of horses running away. That looked a bit awkward. Like I don't know if that was the original intention. Hell are you swinging at, man? Calm the fuck down. But this is a pretty good, like, vast. Well, I was going to say Antonio. I wish they didn't cut that so early, because Antonio was walking up, and I think if you had the camera linger and look at the whole place on fire, that would have been even more of a great shot. So that's four more. That's the case. I mean, there's 8 of them. Just complain about the grape stuff and it's made from honey. He's like, this tastes good. There's that girl. See, I see Antonio checking her out. You look to the side, you look down. I saw you looking down. I saw you, like... I saw you. You can't fool me. Antonio Banderas, the Arab. There you go. Go with me if you want to leave. What the hell is that? Dog-faced boy? I saw one person look like the dog-faced boy. I don't know. That was like just a weird random shot, or I saw it wrong. Oh, great. The crazy grandma. Is it Grandma Nicole? We tired of your bullshit. You tell us or you get the fuck out. I am Dolph Lundgren's father. He looked like he could be like Dolph Lundgren's brother, at least. I am Dolph Lundgren's brother. And we must break you. And that's the thing, to repeat myself, it's just, you don't get much of a notion of who the characters are. That's the tough thing when you're trying to have, okay, 13 warriors, and how could you ever try to build any of these characters up? Now see, this right here makes no sense at all. Let me explain a bit, because I do remember this. This old lady pretty much, she said, you could kill 1,000 of them, it won't matter. But if you break their will, they'll be done. The mother of the dead is their will. You kill their mother, it's all over. They do that, they kill the mother, thus would kill the will. But then there's a whole fucking ending where the bad guys still attack them and they make another little battle in like half-ass slow motion. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I thought if you break their will, that would be it. But it's not the case, apparently. The old, what was the fuck your poor talking to the like? You killed the old lady, or you killed the mother? You killed the mother. You break the will. Apparently not, because they killed the mother, and then they go back here. Then the lieutenant, whatever, wants to attack, and then I guess killing him also will break their will. See, that's what I mean. Like they had a plan, and when you watch, you go, okay. Obviously, the first time you're watching it, you may not remember that scene, but if you watch it again, it's like, wait a minute, well, what the fuck was that about then? What the fuck was that about? What was this whole, you kill the mother, you break their will, you kill the mother, it's done. Because this is supposed to be a take on Beowulf. I didn't even mention that. The tale of Beowulf killing the queen, the mother. Take the tale of Beowulf, but make it its own as well. That was what Eaters of the Dead was about. There you go, Antonio had the right idea. If they think like bears, there's a cave. Is there a cave? That must be where they are, the cave. Super images of them trying to get into the cave system. Although if they think they're bears, it's kind of weird they're standing guard like this, like they were stormtroopers. Ooh, that's a nice shot. Arrow in the head. I remember, yeah, I do remember there was a cave sequence in this, and that's probably one of the more interesting parts of the film is the whole cave system. Just because a cave, you could have potential to have an atmosphere, a gloom. I forget who all lives. Like, I know Antonio lives. I think two or three more live. I know the leader dies. Which is the leader kills the mother, gets poisoned, and then you have that last battle and he kills the lieutenant, and then the movie ends. But that's what I mean, is this kind of redundant thing where it has two finales. You have finale where they're fighting the leader, I forget the actor's name, the guy in the back there, the Dolph Lundgren's brother. He kills the mother, and then you get to the fight at the end, then he kills the lieutenant guy, or whoever the hell he was. At the very least, have like Antonio kill that one. Like, this guy kills the mother, now have Antonio, like, kill the lieutenant guy. And have Antonio get, he's the 13th warrior, so he's one, it's our lead. It's our lead that we're following mostly throughout. So he kills and stabs or cuts the head off or something. big old bitties. Big old titties. That's a lot of bones. But you would think you would feel stepping on bones, because stepping on bones is very different. Yeah, they're cannibals. They're not men, they're cannibals. But at the same time, like this bit here, like in the cave system, it felt like it could get. There's potential to be horror and scary, and it never really comes off as that manner. Maybe because, the director or directors, like, McTiernan, when he did a horror film like Nomads, it's not really that great. Now, Predator, because it's more of an action film, I didn't think Predator was scary, but it's, satisfying film for many other merits. Now, if the cave system was... Okay, think of The Descent. Remember when Neil Marshall did The Descent? If the cave system was shot and had that type of gloom and eeriness, like The Descent, maybe it could have captured some tension. But there's like a lack of tension in this whole cave system. But yeah, Antonio is, killed, or at least Antonio is not deemed useless. I would give the movie that, because sometimes in these movies it seems like the lead... Sometimes you watch a film, you go, wow, the lead character didn't need to be there at all. But at least, they've shown that he's the one that rescues the little girl and brought her back. He's the one who thought of the idea of maybe they're in a cave system. They did show him killing some of the bad guys during the attack scene. So at least there's that. And that alone. At least. I'm sure this was a fun day, getting all that water blasted onto them. Whether that's warm water, cold water, was it freezing? Of course, the idea would be to have it heated, but whether they could do that or not, I don't know. I mean, I would assume maybe this cave system was built. I would assume. For safety reasons, I don't know. They had the budget to do it. Definitely kicking some ass here. Yep, he's got a job to do. Even though apparently it didn't matter, because they just come back to try to fight and they gotta do it again. I know it's getting darker. But I guess it kind of fits in the mood. Just like getting darker in the system of the cave. This damn video's getting darker. Disembodied heads as some of his brethren. Again, it's sort of the was it Gwendol? Like again, the Beowulf take on it. Like this was reshot because again, at first it was like an old woman. They're like, oh, they want him. But it could be an old woman that still moves like an animal, and it could look like creepy and hopefully scary looking. I said this looks like someone from CoverGirl. So does scratch him because there's poison, then cuts the head off. And that bit has a poison that's going to kill him. But it felt like, okay, that was it. Like, almost felt like a little bit anticlimactic. I say it felt like they took more time to go down than the fight. Like the fight, you had like 30 seconds of doing stuff, and then it cuts away for him to go in, dodge a few times, and cut the head off. So it just felt as if, I don't know. So he's going to stand and fight because you know he's dying anyway. I don't remember how many there's left. There's Antonio. There's the leader. Let's see, it makes it look like there's 5. And that pretty much shows why Antonio joined, because he has the ideas. The idea guy. I was saying like the whole stuff in the cave looked like it'd be like this big elongated battle where they go through the twists and turns of the cave and fall back and the cave system, maybe there's something over up top that they're jumping down, and or because of the cave system there's levels here and there's levels here. As a bowing, these cannibals come out of the woodwork, coming out of like hidden coves of caves. One or two of them get killed because there's these little secret coves. Or not really. It just felt like, I remember the first time I saw this, I went, "That's it." Like this is the end, right? Because they said you kill the mother, it loses their will. They lose their will, so this is the end of it, right? And I'm like, wait a minute, there's like 15 minutes left of the movie. What the fuck? I'm like, this is it? This is the end of the movie? I felt, I didn't, anticlimactic. I felt, I guess that's why. So pretty much that's it, just that he's gonna draw and tell the story so it lives on. See, that just completely neglects the point. We killed the mother, but not the leader, so they'll come for us because they want revenge. Then why the fuck did the old lady go, if you kill the mother, it breaks their will? Because again, because of these fucking additional photography. I mean, here's the thing, like, maybe John McTiernan's original version, maybe it was worse, maybe it was better, I don't know. But since we can never see it, we can't really judge it. And, oh, a test screening didn't like it. Well, if there's a test screen for John Carver's The Thing, they would have said it sucked, because a lot of people back in the day said John Carver's The Thing sucked. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the original version of 13th Warrior, Eaters of the Dead, would have been John Carver's The Thing. Not even close. I could bet my bottom dollar on it. What I'm saying is that just because a test audience doesn't like the film doesn't mean it's a bad film. Obviously, it's a film you're not looking forward to. Oh, haha, test audience didn't like it, so it gives more credence to your opinion and your values. But in all truthfulness, at the end of the day, we all have different tastes, different opinions. Just like this film now, there are people who liked it, enjoy it, going on, man, it's not that bad. Now, is this the worst movie ever? No. Is this the worst movie of 1999? No. Would I say it was in the top 10 worst of 1999? Probably not. Probably not. I'm just saying that based on what I thought was going to happen with the trailer, the director, John McTiernan, the Eaters of the Dead, like the potential, I don't think it went up to its potential at all. Like, I don't even know how the other uh, warriors died. Because I thought 4 died and there were 8 of them, but apparently not, because I only saw 1 die there, so it'd be 7. But you have the leader, Antonio, the guy who's friendly with Antonio, the guy who wants Antonio's knife. There's another guy. That's like 5. I don't remember the others. Of course, the idea is that instead of being taken, kill him. And this last battle, that's the thing, this last battle isn't that great or memorable either. I would say the only battle worth a crap was the first big battle in the dark with the torches. And other than that, I mean, again, when you compare it to a few years before, you have Braveheart. This just does not fucking compute at all. Not one damn bit. So we have the redhead guy, we got the leader who's poisoned, we got Antonio Banderas, and we got... Yeah, that's the one guy I was thinking of, the 5th guy. I can't tell you anything about that guy other than the 5th guy. And that's the thing, I mean, other than... I call him Antonio's buddy, who keeps calling him little brother, who had the fight with this... I didn't remember. I was saying that guy who wanted to dethrone his father, the king, the younger guy, what happened to him? What happened to that guy? He just left and we never saw him again. And again, that love story between Antonio and the girl, nothing really came of that. And again, it felt like they too felt the cave system was anticlimactic. So that's like, oh, well, we gotta have this one more because the audience will feel as if that's it. I say, isn't this like slow motion stuff? Yep, there's a slow mo there. Kind of swinging, some blood spray. Yeah, it's a whole scene in slow motion. See, I don't think McTiernan did any of this. I think this is all Michael Crichton. Because I think Michael Crichton added this new ending. I guess slow motion to add like more happening than it really is. It's pretty much the same people riding the horses, sword swinging, slamming down, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. There's the leader, takes the guy down. Is that the leader? Slam down in him now. Even that seemed quick. And like they just know. Like they just know that the leader's dead. Like someone, whoever's with the horn in the back, they just know. Maybe they sense the force. The leader's dead. They'll come back, and they'll never go back again. I guess. What if they get a new leader? What if they wait a week, or 2 weeks, or 5 weeks, and they come back with a new leader? That's the thing. The whole mother was that there was no mother character, so it wouldn't be just replicated. But now it's here. Oh, it's the leader. Again, like they completely defeated the purpose of killing the mother. So that old woman didn't know what the hell she was talking about. Oh, she did. It's just again, they shot additional photography. It just we need to add another action sequence because we felt the cave system was just too short and anticlimactic. We'll make a bigger set piece of the fucking cave system. I guess to rebuild the cave system would take a. Well, they built a section, I guess, to reshoot the instead of older, it was a younger woman, but whatever, man. Did any of those 5 even die? No, because the old guy, I mean, the leader's going to succumb to his wounds. They find out here. He succumbs to his wounds, the poison and stuff. So it's his buddy, the redhead, and the one guy. Yeah, he sits on his throne. Yeah, those are the 4 survivors. Now he's going to be doing a funeral like we saw earlier. I'm not sure. I mean, I thought someone else scored this and then Jerry Goldsmith had to come in. Maybe not. I don't know. I did like that guy. That guy did good. For what little he was given to do, he did a good job. So Antonio's not bad. His again, I call him his buddy. His buddy isn't bad either. The little bits he could have with dialect with Antonio, he made him a fun enough character. The action scenes were lacking. I joined the bit with the torches, and that was like the one set piece I could get behind. The finale with all the slow motion, and this is the end of it. Yeah. You watch it again, I'm still not a fan of the movie. I will say I'm still not a fan of the film. I think the film is rather dull, is rather boring, as, there's barely any light on here, but maybe that's fitting for my mood. Like I said, Antonio Banderas didn't do a bad job. I can't remember the names of the other characters. I can't tell you what the name of his buddy was or anything in between. I'd have to look it up because he didn't give much of an establishment of that. I'm not saying they didn't do it at all, but Sven Thorson, the would-be teen. Okay, I didn't know that was Sven Thorson. Okay, Sven was the Remember the guy in The Running Man who tells Richard Dawson, "Guess I'd have to go store some steroids." He was also the security guard LaFour's, the mall security guard in Mallrats. That's Vendel Thorson. I didn't know he was in this. Okay. But yeah, the film, I found it rather boring. I think there's a lot of issues where there's plot points brought up and not follow through. I didn't like the young guy that wants to be teen and take over his dad and sent that big guy to kill Antonio Banderas' buddy, it seemed. That was completely useless. That went nowhere. A possible love story between Banderas and the girl. There's not even like a final moment between Antonio saying goodbye to her. You want to come with me? She going, hey, you want to stay? Like, there's nothing of that brought about. Like I said, I think the horror aspect, other than a couple good gore gags, was underutilized. The cave system could have been creepier, scarier, intense. It was none of those. The action scenes for John McTiernan, they felt a bit lacking. Like I said, the first battle was kind of jumbled, and the other side, I don't know, it just wasn't for me. Wasn't a fan. Like I said, it just came off as rather dull. And like I said, coming off of a few years before, you had Braveheart and some of these other movies, even Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. That's funny. I see it sounds like red. That's weird. I see like some red stuff going on. I don't know. Maybe I don't like the red lighting. Actually, I wonder if I do this. There you go. Yeah, night vision. I should have done the whole video like this. Yeah, that's the one thing this camcorder does. It might cost $100 and the video quality might be crap, but there's actually night vision. Go figure. I wonder if I should do a whole video like this, night vision mode. But anyway, for those who made it to the end, at least you see a little bit of this. With that said, if you like the film, that's cool. If you enjoy the film, that's cool. Just not for me. Not a horrible film, but I don't think that good of a film either. Thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.